Don't worry, kids. The sky never really has to fall inside your head. From fear to freedom, baby. That's what we're talking about and how we've built that. Oh, it feels so damn good to be diving into the world of crypto. Welcome to the channel where we build financial power. My name is Fat. My name is Fat Matt. Welcome. And the other person on the other side of this screen, this beautiful person that you see in the Stanford hoodie. Who are you? Who are you?
What did it say? Potter.
That's her.
That's me.
Her. That is
I've always
her.
wanted to do that, by the way.
It is there. It's there for the taking. It is always there for the taking, as you can see.
It is.
If you're new to this channel, this is where we build financial power. And we've delved into the world of crypto, specifically DeFi. Together now, we are pushing not quite, let's see, we're coming up on 9 months, you and I together, Potter.
Yeah, cool.
I can't wait for
the anniversary.
Trippy to think about, it's flying by. And this channel, this show, we talk about sort of our journey. We document, we show you the process. If you go back and look, you can see definitely the dip in me of the mentality around this, of the distrust, of the trying to learn, and that's what we want to bring. And today we were going to be talking about something else, but we were really feeling this concept about this, I guess, this crypto fear that you feel, and then how it comes to be freedom. And Potter and I haven't talked much before this, but I've actually been feeling that for one specific reason. So, but before we dive all the way into the topic, Potter, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. And as a reminder, Matt and I, we love you very much, but this is not financial advice.
Not even close.
Right? So we have it running across the screen, but we want to make sure that those who are just listening understand that we are just documenting our journey.
Yep.
And that you should not take this as financial advice. It is for entertainment purposes only. And if there's any advice that is pretty much dogma in all of crypto, is don't invest what you can't afford to say goodbye to forever. Yep. No grandma's pension, no advance on your paycheck, only stuff that you can afford to lose.
Truly that risk
that
capital.
So truly. Other than that, I'm good. And you know that because I passed that amazing landmark for myself.
Heck yeah. So again, if you go back and you look, you can see that back in, you can sort of see my journey, especially because I'm newer to this. Potter's been in this longer than I am, but back December 6th, December 7th was the first project I got into with Potter. And really and truly, because of the trust I have in her, because of this hope and belief that I see in crypto. And I'm the common person. I'm like, I don't understand the technical analysis. She does. She has that holy crap. She understands the coding and all that. So that's such a different side to see. And when I started in this one project, all the way up until this point, I got in with a pretty good investment, but the price swing with this certain project, it affected me much more because I had so much less of the actual coin itself. Now that I finally crossed that 1,000 mark, 1,000 deposits, the price swing doesn't hit as hard. Still hits, but it doesn't hit nearly as hard. And I'm now starting to see like a backbone with the financial income. So it's definitely on a daily basis, I think, bringing or breeding more stability in my head of what the project can do long-term for me financially. I think I'm finally following some of the mental breadcrumbs that you have experienced for quite some time now, because of it building, but Potter was talking about her sort of landmark being tomorrow, and like dive into that because that's what sparked this thought in this conversation.
All right. So when I left my job, again, that was just like over 200 a year, right? To do this, I did it because I didn't want to, quiet quitting. I felt that if somebody was paying me to do a very difficult job, right, then I should be all in or I shouldn't work for them. I should honor that, right? But I still had to make logical choices based on data and numbers. So I planned on a lot of Forex stuff, leaving on that, and he just kept missing dates. But I didn't leave my job or my career for, one person. It was the technology. I felt like crypto was going to be everything. So, as Matt is talking about, I just factored into numbers with everything. When should I leave? When should I compound? When should I, cash out? And so my last phase in the bear market, I was really, going in, and I'm like, I'm not going to cash out during a bear market. But I finally hit a point that, to your point, when you see like you went over 1,000, and you do notice that if you look at the amalgamation of it and look at the total, you lose more quicker when you look at it. But when you look at your daily, it doesn't change that much.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And so that's what they look at one number that doesn't really mean anything because it's talking about 365 days from now.
The max payout and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you look at your daily, that it just doesn't swing that much. So what I noticed the first time when I started cashing out was, wow, I don't have to cash out that much, right? It's doing okay. But then the price of the market just started to dip, and I'm like, oh no, now I'm behind. So now I had to compound. The bottom line was the algorithm showed me that if I could last at one point 90 days ago, if I could last to the next 90 days, so what was that? July, June, May. So this was back in May that I realized if I can make it through this 90 days, I think I'm going to be good.
Okay.
And I said, throw what you got at me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got the worst economy in 50 years.
Right.
Right. But I did not stop. I listened to the good influencers, who talked about, facts. I looked at my own data, which I had to collect daily, and it's very painful. But it showed me that if I just waited those 90 days, that I could wait it out. I'd established a mean price for what I needed to make daily, right? And before, I wasn't willing to make that commitment that I'm good because it was in one person.
Well, wait, because you said you collected that data on a daily basis. Do you mean going through all the crypto positions that you're in, doing the numbers, figuring out, all right, I'm making this much from this day, this much from this day, in 1 month, I'll make that much. Got it. That's the data. You have to go in and look.
And it hurts.
When you're bleeding.
I'm sorry. Could you say that again? I cut you off.
When you're bleeding, it hurts. Meaning when you're losing money, it's really difficult to look at that data and be like, okay, I lost that much today. That's what you mean by that. That makes sense. Got it. Go ahead.
Yeah. And then it started to become, you saw how much data I collect.
Oh my God.
The data started to show, wow, this is your really good scenario and this is your really bad scenario.
Right.
Right. And because everything was bleeding, it was, I think we're about a month ago, I was down on one knee. It was over. I was like, okay, I'm not going to get to that threshold. I said that I had 90 days. You got me at like day 70 something, Yeah. And then the market said, oh, kidding. That was it. And that little sharp recovery that has not been great, but that little bit allowed the other positions to all, when the market came back ish, everything I had was green. So I'm like, okay, that means that I got rid of all the bad plays, like, the year plus of me removing bad plays, not being emotionally tied to it.
Right.
That looks like I've matured. But what I didn't realize is the amount of daily that I was making exceeded what I needed to live for the first time. And this is at the crap part, right? So tomorrow will be the day that I gave myself to say, mathematically, for me to go back to work, everybody would have to suffer. Like the world would just have to completely stop. Because I'm not saying that I am making enough daily that I have 3 houses and one is in Paris and one is in Stockholm, right? I'm saying that I have enough to live well, like I did when I was working, and pay my taxes, which is the most important part.
Yeah.
Right. So wow. Yeah. That's a crazy freedom.
Well, and let me give context to the person that's listening and to the person that is not more than a year into their crypto journey, that's not 8 or 9 months into their journey, that might be just starting, or like, I think what y'all are saying is total crap. I want you to know that I hear the voice that's in your head, because I've had that voice. I've had a very optimistic yet very skeptical voice in my head the entire time, that I think it serves me well, and it's done me a disservice at times. But you have to, I definitely think you can't get wrapped up in the magic of it. You can't romanticize with it, but you also can't be pessimistic. So I'm talking to the person out there right now. It's like, I'm so far removed from where you two are. I'm not where you're at, and I don't believe that I ever will be where you're at, because I promise you, 8, 9 months ago, it was not on a whim, but it was on a like wishful thinking basis that I got into this project that we're talking about. But I will tell you now that starting from 107 coins to now passing over 1,000, or 107 deposited to now over 1,000 deposited, it looks and feels differently when you were at a compounded or different vantage point, when you've stuck to it long enough. Because I know it from a financial standpoint. I've looked at people talking, whether it's an influencer or whatever. I've looked at them and I've heard them speaking about where they're at and what they're going to do and what they have done. And you can't help but be removed from it and not understand the vantage point, because you're not there.
Can you give an example?
Yeah, I think when here's a good example. My dad and I were talking about this yesterday. The show Shark Tank. A lot of people are a lot of people are enamored by the show Shark Tank for many, many reasons. But I think it's difficult for the common person to connect with Mark Cuban about how do you do $1 million deals for someone that's never, like, that is not fathomable for a lot of people, so you have that disconnect. You can't truly understand, and you're like, I don't even know if it's I don't even know if it's real. I can't connect to that. I'm a common person. So I'm saying that to say I have felt the exact same thing of what you're feeling. If you're listening right now and that's ringing a bell in your head, I've felt that. But and I asked a really financially successful friend this one time. I said, and I think I asked you the same thing, Potter. I said, when you don't have money, and then when you do have money, are your visions, are your dreams, your hopes, are they different, I guess, because of your now new beliefs and understanding of what you can do? Like, basically, because you have new power, are you able to think bigger? And I remember you said yes, and my other friend said the same thing, because I've always thought, as, owning a business and, trying to come up from the mud and walking my way through the snow and all that, like, I've always felt like, well, you have to have some vision. You have to, like, shouldn't you be like, I'm going to be a billionaire one day and I'm going to make $1 million business and whatnot. Some people you hear, like, super successful people, I always knew that was going to be me. I knew that was me. I had the confidence. No doubt. I saw it forever. I think there are a lot of people that don't feel that. And I've even thought, like, well, because I don't feel that now, does that mean that I'll never feel it? I'll never achieve it. I'll never have it. But I can say that I don't believe everyone absolutely has to see, holy crap, the incredible path that they will just burn to be. Like, now being over 1,000 deposits, I'm not balling. In fact, I haven't taken $1 in profit, but if I wanted to, I could. Right now I'm playing the long game. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that long-term vision of what you want to be, what you want to do, it is okay if you don't fully see it right now. But if you believe in that crypto, if you believe in whatever that is that you're pursuing, that is enough. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It's and it's something that you have to grow into.
Yes,
because what you're saying is what I said to you.
It's very true.
When you were going, but hey, Matt, what if we look at it a different way too?
Okay.
Like there's a personality type called ENTP. I think we're both ENTP, right? But there's another personality type called ENFP.
Okay.
And that F means that person should not ever do what we're doing.
Okay.
Because they will, that we went through some that bear market hurt.
It was tough. It was tough.
Right? An ENFP person has the personality of, I want to build a team. I like to do things teamy, know me. And if it sees everybody else suffering, they're not going to enjoy it. It's going to be a horrible experience. So some people, you're just not cut out for this, right? But there are plenty of financial planners out there who will take that risk for you.
Sure.
Right? You shouldn't be doing this because
that's a really good point, actually.
There was a point that I didn't know with Matt. If Matt was going to go, you know what, man,
I'm out of here.
This just ain't me.
Yeah.
But
you're 100% right.
You went through the hardest parts, and it's hard to watch your wealth just go up and go down. But after you get those numbers and you start going, oh, it's almost like, like a Target. They have 100 stores. Let's say one store is doing horrible, right? If we just focus in on that, let's say that store controls, it's one store, but it controls 40% of their market. You can go, oh my God, I mean, they're going to crash. Or you can look at it as, well, what are the other ones doing? Are they building? If you don't look at the numbers and you just look at the story, you're going to come up with a bleak outlook. And a lot of the positions that we are in, some were discovery, some were gas tanks, and only really one was a longer term guess about crypto.
That's a good point. Yep.
Right? So all of those things were hard to manifest. And then you have the doubt in yourself. Like, how many self-help books are there about people who say, you are your greatest opponent? I mean, we say it to ourselves, all the time. But the people that I listened to the whole time were saying, whatever you do, don't quit. Right? All of them say that. And when I employed, what is it? I got Michael Jordan. I got the Brady. When you start looking at those guys, you start looking at, that's the one thing that they didn't do. They weren't the best, but they became among the best because they didn't quit. And so me being numbers, you tell my parents, me and numbers, they'd be like, she's going to be working at McDonald's. But it was something to me. We're building something. We're going to talk about tomorrow about what we are, our bigger goals are, right? What we're trying to accomplish. But none of those were accomplishable unless I put the numbers there, unless I saw the data that helped me see that what I was seeing wasn't emotional. And it was real. And it was going into my bank account. And Uncle Sam knew about it. Like that's an economy. That's, what it's all about. And it's exactly what we've been trying to strive for. But boy, mentally is it tough because you're in a brand new domain. But I can tell you that this is the first time that I've seen crypto kicked in the face and the teeth by the powerful, and they can't kill it.
Quite resilient.
They can't kill it. You know why? Because for the first time, people are affecting industry. People have, in free countries, people have the ability to say, I'm smarter than the investor who went to college, right? Because that person went and is taking a look at financial institutions, but they don't understand crypto. They don't understand gaming, right? So you might be.
Understood.
But when it comes down to the reason we say get a financial planner, you got to pay the tax, man. Like, you can make all the money in the world. If you don't do that part, if that's not a part of your business model, you're going to be like, those sports athletes that we see, that they're rich and then all of a sudden, they're on the street with a sign. I hope that wasn't too preachy.
No. I mean, I think it's our experience. I mean, and that's what we're documenting and reporting on. And it's funny because to me, this whole thing is ultimate, like why we're talking about crypto, why we're here, why we have a show is that Potter and I both have a belief in crypto. I think that's the overarching theme. But for a personal reason for myself, and I think for a personal reason, I won't speak for Potter, but from what I know, the personal reason for her, I think there's a certain level of self-betterment. Maybe I know for myself, there's like a self-betterment piece, and something I stumbled on a few years ago, and something I'm sort of rediscovering. And this is not me pushing my philosophies on you. I'm just, again, sharing sort of my experience. If you look up stoicism, or the definition of stoicism, it is the endurance of pain or hardship without the display of feelings or without complaint. And it's so easy to complain. I'm talking about myself here. It's so easy to complain. And, I have a business where I'm into fitness and all that. Where I found myself in fitness was the physical pain of going and doing it when no one was forcing you to do it. And it's the same thing here that I've learned with this crypto. Nobody's forcing me to do this. This is on my own accord. And it's been tough. It's been tough. It has been tough. But I think there's growth in that. I think there's a hint, for me at least, of stoicism, of going through that pain and doing your best not to complain about it, and growing from the pain. The pain is where you grow. So real macro there.
Yeah, and the hardship of this, like, it's a different kind of burn than working out. It's a different kind of burn than getting through a job interview. It's a different kind of burn than delivering on a project.
Yep, 100%.
Right? This is one that you have to have self-discipline. You have to have trust that you are doing the things that you thought you should do, and that you're executing in alignment with the plan that you set out at the onset.
Yep.
Because when I was ready to say, well, let's wrap it up, it was because the data said you cannot survive on this. And I didn't care. Like, this isn't about pride for me. This is about, we'll talk about that tomorrow, but building something greater. And to prove that it wasn't prideful, I had to humble myself in front of family and friends to say, hey guys, this might not work out. But it did. I went from that. I went from, hey guys, I'm going back to work, to several weeks later, I'm not going to be working for anybody again. And that is a bold statement to make for somebody who has not cleared, the top levels. But I'm just looking at the trending, and I'm going incredibly conservative. And that's what I've done with Matt the entire time. I've been conservative, and I'm still going over. I could not have anticipated a 50-year market collapse. But even with that, the numbers didn't lie. So it's just good stuff. Sometimes you just got to trust yourself.
Yep, it is. And that is the overarching theme of what we're talking about here, of, like, in crypto, we've had this fear that has led to this freedom. And this isn't the first time we've talked about fear. It's not the last time we'll talk about fear. It's very interesting. Starting this journey back with Potter in December, I honestly did not believe that there was going to be so much of what I was talking about, that endurance of pain. And that's where I believe growth is built. And it's just fun. It's just fun. So if you're feeling squirrely, slide on back here Thursday, Friday, 10 Eastern. We're going to be dropping a show, and we'll be back here tomorrow. Next week, we're going to be talking about a concept that we actually talked about last Thursday. We're going to dive into the concept of STEPN. STEPN is a crypto move to earn. Basically, the more active you are, the more you get paid. It's a super, super fun concept. It's a blending of Potter's world and the blending of my fitness world. We love it. Potter's going to dive into the crypto side, the technical analysis, and I'll be bringing some of the other more practical stuff. So if you have questions about this, please drop it in the comments below. We want to be prepared for some of the questions you may have. But regardless, we're going to be bringing the heat next Thursday with it. So Potter, you got anything in closing before we hop out of here?
Yeah, I really like those comments. Like, people are so nice in the comments. So
it is cool.
We don't ask you to like, subscribe, or follow, but in alignment with Matt said, leave us a comment at least.
Yeah. Let us know. What do you want to hear? Check it out. STEPN is crypto move to earn. First one that ever hit space. Seems super cutting edge. We're going to talk about it next Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow. And builders, keep building.
Oh, well, there's all kinds of ways that I could have messed it up, but that one was the best way to mess it up. So if you stuck with us this long, game on.
Great.